Howdy, Redesert Boy here. As you can see, I got my Smith and Wesson hat on today, and there's something special laying back here that I'm going to share with you. Might have got a glimpse of it on a little short I may have posted by now. But just to give you a little backstory, I'm a big fan of Smith and Wesson guns. Newer ones I know is big quality control with various of our manufacturers with newer guns. But anyway, I've always been a big fan of the like the K22s and Model 17s. But when I was younger, like most young guys, you kind of look forward if you're raised in with firearms, and and it's just a part of life, and it's a tool that you use in going about daily life. Protect your family, maybe to snake protection or something, especially 22. Could be for varmints, that kind of thing. Maybe you do target shooting, who knows, because 22s, especially the old ones, K22s, known as the K22 target masterpiece, very, very accurate, finely crafted firearms. Now, my dad gave me a K22, and I was, that was a big kind of coming of age thing, like with a lot of us in the time, and it had this basket weave, beautiful leather basket weave holster, which at the time I thought looked kind of funky. I didn't know if I really liked it. Nowadays, I have a tremendous respect for those kind of designs and the floral designs and stuff in leather that I didn't when I was younger. But I had that gun, and it was a great shooter, and I loved taking it to the range or just out in the woods or something, because where I lived at the time, there really wasn't anything bigger than maybe it could be maybe a mountain lion, but mostly it would just be coyotes or something like that, or snakes. Always snakes. There's always snakes places in the West. But anyway, so I had it, and then sometimes when you're younger, you kind of trust a lot of people, and so you share about things, you have hobbies, including maybe firearms, and one day I came home and found my apartment was burglarized. My stereo was gone, my records, all the things that I really like, some of my, keepsakes from my grandfather's, and my K22, Smith and Wesson revolver, along with the holster and a Stevens 410 single shot shotgun that was kind of handy. And also, I used to have a police belt with keepers and handcuffs and all that stuff, Cal Light and things, as part of my past lives. And anyway, that was all gone. Those were all gone. Anything that had any kind of quick value. And at first, I was stymied about it. Of course, when I reported it to the police, they were like, "What? You had a gun and you didn't have it, secured this way or that?" And of course, this was a long time ago. We're talking way back, in the 70s and stuff. And they weren't too happy about it, especially to another 22 being on the street, probably, is what they're thinking. And I don't blame them. So, anyway, I learned from that. I figured out it probably was my downstairs neighbors. I lived in this really cool Victorian house that was cut up into apartments. But as I looked at how the glass was and stuff, I figured out that, if they broke in from the outside on the second story, the glass would all be inside my apartment. But it wasn't. It was out on the roof. It was, I think, somebody come up, went through my interior door, because all of our apartments face interior hallway, right? And I was upstairs, and the glass was on the roof. And I said, that just doesn't make any sense if they broke in from the outside. So a few pieces maybe, but Anyway, so just, be cautious, who you trust with whatever your important secrets are, I guess, or important possessions and things, whether it's, some kind of hand-me-down heirloom jewelry, or it's a book or something like that, firearm, who knows. Anyway, moving onward is anyway, this here, I waited, that was 47 years ago, okay, and I have been very sad that I do not have a 22 to pass down to my daughter, and eventually that's what will happen with this one. But I'm going to enjoy it a little while first, because I haven't had one for 47 years. So this happens to be And that was given me by my dad. And what the backstory was I got on this particular firearm was that this holster was made by the fellow's dad that was selling it, and the gun was his dad's, given to him. And this here is a Model 17-2. I was told it was 1962. Some of the history I've looked up says that these 17-2 change was made in 1965. So really nice, beautiful example. Smith and Wesson craftsmanship. Of course, this firearm is unloaded. Okay. One of the things that's beautiful about this gun, if the lighting's good enough, these are countersunk, the bore on these older ones, of course, along with having things like pin barrels. And it has this Patridge front sight, adjustable rear sights, and just this nice target grips with this nice serrated trigger, and the hammer is a nice design there. We can see up close, it's 22. Got holster wear. The old K22 my dad gave me had holster wear too. Nice gun though. And I'm really looking forward to taking this to the range, which I hope to maybe do today. And anyway, I just felt it was nice to have that backstory to be about a father giving it to their son, and then again, I have something that I would be one of the very last things I would give up if this really pans out as well as I believe it will be. I'm very particular about the revolvers. A lot of I'd probably give up all my semi-autos before I gave up my revolvers. So, some of my revolvers I consider pretty important and pretty handy. So, anyway, with that backstory, just real quickly, in 47, of course, they brought the K22 out and all the K-frames, K38, like my K38, which you'll see here in a minute, as a comparison to this. 57, they started giving them the model numbers. This became the Model 17. They were in 6-inch, usually 8 3/8, because they were used a lot for bullseye competition. The 3Ts I talked about, target, trigger, hammer, and grips in the 1960s. And, in the 1990s, they came out with a kind of a round butt, full, with this grooved wooden grip with a full underlug barrel, but they experimented with some other calibers, something called a Remington 22 jet caliber and a Remington centerfire. But the 17, Model 17 was reintroduced as part of the Classics lines in 2009 as a Model 17 masterpiece. It's about a 42-ounce gun, and compared to my K38, which is a 4-inch, this is a 6-inch barrel. That weighs about 34 ounces, so you can see it's significantly heavier. So just some really nice things about it, which we kind of looked at, and we'll take another closer look at it here in a moment. But I just wanted to share that with you and just share my being happy to have a Smith and Wesson K17 Target Masterpiece again. If you ever get a chance to get your hands on one you feel like is in decent shape, you need to make that decision. But, I think this is probably one of the best firearms that you can own as part of a collection. So let's go onward to the other portion. Okay, so let's take a little closer look at this Model 17-2. Now this is the holster. Apparently was a handmade holster that came with the gun, and as I told you in the backstory, this was made by the father of the person that received it, and this gun was handed down to him. So as you can see, these Model 17 are beautiful guns, just like their K22 predecessors. Try to get up there where you can see some of the detail of it. You know, you can see that ribbing up there, and some of the fine qualities of that design, the logos, and so forth. These target grips. Hammer, I don't know if that's a target hammer. I think a target one might be wider. I think this trigger might be a target trigger. It is serrated. We can see that the firearm is empty. And one of the nice things about this is if we can get a good look at that, you can see those are counterbored. They're recessed, you know. And then, you know, barrel on this side. It's hard to get the light on there to see the Smith and Wesson. These guns are pretty hefty. This is a K-frame, okay? And if I was to show you my K38, which is before 1957, that's what we figured out it is. You can see here's my K38. It's got these, I believe those are Packmeyer grips that are on there. But it's unloaded, of course. But it's got the Bowman type quick draw sight, where this one has more the Patridge style target sight. They both have adjustable sights. If we were to put them up against each other, we can see that they are the same frame, pretty much. You know, very interesting. One's in 38 and one's in 22. This one weighs 42 ounces. Or as I weighed it on the scale, I think it was 41.9 on this scale over here when I went ahead and weighed it. You know, it's about, it's a little hard to see there. It's 2 pounds 9.3, so it's, you know, you take 32 and 9, that's 41.3, right? And if we were to take that off of there, put this guy on there, it's about 35.1. So it's supposed to be about a 34-ounce gun. Of course, this one looks like it's got nickel plating on it. But anyway, just a beautiful gun. Just wanted to give you a chance to look at that up close. Nice, nice looking gun. You know, these are really accurate. I haven't had it to the range, obviously. I wanted to share this with you. You can see there's some holster wear. In the backstory, I told you the K22 my father gave me had a little holster wear on it too. But yeah, really a nice firearm, well made. I don't know if those grips are original, but they sure look nice on there. You know, look at that. Very nice. And so this is a model 17-2. I don't know whether we could see that or not. But if you check down inside of here, now it should say 17-2 in there. Now, as far as the different models go, from what I've been able to find out, the way it kind of goes is, you know, these came out in 47. Both of these K-frames, they came out about 47. This one obviously was before the Model 15 and Model 14 designations, Model 14 being the target masterpiece and Model 15 being the combat masterpiece, which this was to the K38. This here was the, I think they originally called this the Model 17 target masterpiece, and originally the K22 was called that, but they did make a 4-inch version, in my understanding, that was called the combat masterpiece. But as far as the changes of them, right? The original one was model 17, and then they changed. There was a left side frame screw in front of the trigger guard that was removed on 17.1. On 17.2, cylinder stop notches were widened and the gas ring was removed from the yoke to the cylinder. So first one designated as model 17 was 57, the 17.1 was 61, and then 65. Now I was told this was a 62, but according to this information I'm finding, 65 was the first year for model 17-2. In 67, they made model 17.3. They changed the rear sight leaf screw was relocated. 17.4 and 77, it eliminated the traditional pin barrel, which is, if we look at this up close, you can see this does have a pin barrel. And then that's a 17.4. They eliminated the pin barrel and the recessed cylinder counterbores, which I showed you. And the model 17.6 standardized a full underlug barrel option. They actually came out underneath here, making it a bit heavier. And then models 17.7, 17.8, the blue revolver was discontinued and later revived in Classic Series production. So in 1998 they discontinued it. 2009 they had revived it in the what do you call it, the classic line, and so it has some frame changes, including a floating firing pin, to my understanding, mem hammer, and of course it had the internal lock. So that was some other changes that were done to it. In 1990 is when they did the full underlug. So of course there's a model 617 which has 6, I think, originally, but most nowadays are pretty much known as 10 round stainless versions, and they're nice guns too, but they don't have this classic look to them. So just sit that out there for a minute just to look at it. It looks so nice out there. As I said, I waited 47 years to find one, to buy one, to try to do the best I could to replace the one that had been taken away from me by folks that felt like it was theirs and broke into my place. So anyway, as Reed Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing, and I will get to the range with this. And also, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.